Welcome to the Tunabudget Podcast, your source for insights into financial wellness. Today we're diving into caring for the poor and the needy. At Tunabudget.com, home of the Tunabudget Worksheet Plan and Candid Conversation Memos, we offer resources that simplify budget life planning. We also encourage discussions about real-life challenges affecting our finances. Don't forget to submit your Candid Conversation Memo at Tunabudget.com. Let's get started. The world is getting more and more challenging and complicated, right? Too many people have and will face financial hardships that put their families in need, and poverty is increasing. What does society do, and you too, in response to these needs? If you've been in need before or are poor, you will likely never forget to share with others who now experience the same. If you have resources, you will have the opportunity to freely share them with those in need and who are poor. Frankly, as time goes on, this approach to living may be the very key to our collective survival and prosperity, or if not, some real struggles. For example, if you are a mechanic and your neighbor in need has a broken car, you may show up with your tools and ask the neighbor if we're going to sit and stare at the car or we're going to fix it. Of course, you don't charge the neighbor, but tell him to pay it forward, right? You get the idea. If a family is hungry, you can help provide relief there too. If an elderly neighbor is in need, assistance is also offered. In other words, the real purpose, I think as we're going to discover as the years go by, of our abundant resources, besides taking care of our own needs, is to care by sharing for and with those who are in need and those who are poor. Take a closer look at why we often fail to take better care of each other. Why we should take care of each other, and several examples of how we might share our abundance with others in need or who are poor. Again, your Tunabudget worksheet plan can easily handle as little or as much as needed, right, to make it all work out just fine. First, let's look at the big why we don't care, okay? In this case, pick a card, any card. There's probably dozens of reasons why people, hopefully not like you, who fail to care for the poor and the needy. So pick a card, like I said, any card, and see if any of these sound like you. First example, I'm not aware. You have so much money and are so busy. You just can't see, like firsthand, the needs of others. Maybe you just don't realize how much pain and suffering there is out there. Next, I'm not really all that interested. Yes, you're way too busy trying to advance your career and adding to your personal wealth stack that suffering people, well, they're simply not on your to-do list. You just don't have time for them, right? How about let them get it on their own? You earned everything you have, and so should they. And besides, they're super lazy too, right? Next, I'm not going to throw my money away. You hear that all these welfare and charity programs that are full of fraud and waste. And how dishonest people can there be, you say? Doesn't a huge chunk of your money go to the folks who run the organizations? Or people at the top get paid 5 to 10 times what you make? You worry how any assistance you provide might be misused and fall into the hands of scammers, right? Next, what good will it really do anyway? Besides, there are so many people in poverty out there these days, and your individual efforts would just be futile anyway. Nobody's going to benefit, and nothing good is going to come out of it, so why try, right? Next, I have my own problems too. It's not just you. Practically everybody else out there is struggling too. Why should you make an extra sacrifice to help someone else when you are having a hard time making your ends meet yourself? Or, I don't feel like I should help. Hey, it's each man for his own. You believe it is your individual responsibility to take care of yourself, and that goes for other people too. Why should you feel any duty to take care of other people? They can step up and be responsible too, or suffer. You believe everyone should solve their own problems and thus refrain from offering assistance, believing in the principle of self-sufficiency, right? How about, that's what the government's for anyway? Poverty is the government's responsibility, not yours, right? You believe social welfare is solely the responsibility of the government. So why in the world should I give my hard-earned resources to somebody else? Next, I'm not getting near those people. Hey, I'm worried about being attacked by that person. How stable are they anyway? You wonder if they will try to take advantage of you. You say you've heard of people being violently attacked by people living in the street, right? Next, there's no way I'm going to help those people. You have a stigma or even prejudice against certain people, including when those who are poor and in need. It doesn't matter to you at all that you discriminate against them and are unwilling to help, right? How about, I don't even know that person or who those people are. You have no personal connection to a certain person or a group of people. You feel less likely to help strangers and only feel an obligation to help those people that you know personally, right? Next, I don't have time for this. Of course, you're too busy at the moment. You have heavy demands at work, upcoming family commitments, and simply don't have the time to volunteer or worry about this stuff. And this doesn't even include your entertainment or leisurely activity schedules, right? How about, sorry, but my family comes first. You draw the line on priority. Your family has increasingly higher needs, and that's where your resources will go. You won't put at risk your financial security or of your own family over that of another person in need or living in poverty, right? How about, maybe I'll send a few bucks online. You don't want to step outside your comfort zone and engage directly with someone in need or who is poor. You would rather not connect with somebody like that, right? Next, I can't even think about getting involved. You're oversaturated with all the negative news of crises all over the world, and you've become basically numb or desensitized. You may be surprised that you don't have the same empathy that you had in the past. Call that crisis fatigue, right? How about, all I can think about is myself. You're totally consumed in yourself and can't wait to get out there and spend more and more money in materialism, right? Your shopaholic behavior has you completely disinterested in caring for others. Next, they don't deserve my help. Only those who you feel deserve help should receive it. That person is unworthy to get what I have to share, right? How about, none of my friends do it. You and your social circle are indifferent to caring for the poor and needy. It's just not what you and your friends do, right? Having or acting compassionately, it's not what you do, right? Well, I think it's fair to say it's pretty obvious that there's plenty of good excuses, and we probably have all used them. Next, let's explore the big why we should care, okay? Let's discuss this because, after all, we are human beings and hopefully endowed with some natural feelings of compassion for our fellow travelers. Interestingly, even you could be in need one day. You never know, right? And become poor too. Take a look at what caring for those in need and or those who are poor could do for you. All right, the first one is, yes, this feels good. It feels right. Your generosity is a personal value for you. It gives you a sense of you fulfilling a moral responsibility to care for others. You offer compassion and empathy to those who are less fortunate. You make a positive impact on the lives of others through acts of kindness and generosity. It gives you a strong sense of purpose and meaning. It enriches your own life. How about, I like to have empathy and develop understanding of others. You engage directly with poor people by offering your resources to provide relief, whether it's food or water or medicine, clothing, cash, and so on. Your perspectives are expanded, and your empathy towards people facing different life challenges softens your heart even more. How about enhancing another person's personal well-being? You serve others directly. It might be at the checkout line at the grocery store, or maybe a visit to a homeless shelter or food pantry, or just finding ways to feed and clothe a hungry person that doesn't have adequate clothes and so forth. And it gives you a strong sense of happiness and fulfillment. You made a meaningful difference in someone else's life, and you learned something new about yourself too. Next, maybe you're being part of a social network. You're involved in community service activities that help the needy. You connect with like-minded individuals to build a supportive social network that blesses the lives of others. How about letting your light shine? You helping to take care of the poor sets a positive example for your family and friends and work colleagues. Your efforts shine brightly and are making a difference in the community. Another reason to do this might be a way of becoming grateful. Your interactions with people facing adversity gives you a strong sense of gratitude for your own blessings, be it food, water, a warm bed at night, right? And your health and your own family. You enhance your own mindset of appreciation and humility when you serve others. Another reason would be to lift another to walk on their own. By offering your assistance, you empower others to overcome their challenges and improve their quality of life and contribute to their long-term successes and well-being. This short ad is sponsored by the Debt Crisis Problem Podcast. Attention listeners. Please join us at Tunabudget.com to tune in to the Debt Crisis Problem Podcast, where in plain English we discuss the 20 risks that could soon fuel a serious economic downturn. We explore these critical risks and offer practical insights for navigating financial uncertainty. Join us for thought-provoking discussions that encourage transparency and more awareness. Subscribe now to stay informed and be ready for whatever comes next. Wonderful ways you care. Another reason. When it comes to caring for the poor and the needy, there are many ordinary ways you are likely already familiar with. See which of these resonate for you, okay? See if these wonderful ways resonate to you. I love to volunteer. You seek out volunteer opportunities at local soup kitchens to serve meals to the homeless individuals, offer your time at a homeless shelter, organize clothing drives, or prepare tutoring service. Donating useful and personal items. You regularly donate good, gently used clothing, blankets, shoes, and household items to Goodwill stores to help individuals and families in need. You even donate non-perishable food items to food banks or create care packages with toiletries, the soap and shampoo and toothpaste and whatnot, and distribute them to homeless shelters or individuals on the streets. Charitable donations. You financially support nonprofits that help alleviate poverty with regular monetary donations. Talent sharing and mentoring. You volunteer your time in mentoring at-risk youth or individuals emerging from homelessness. As a professional, you offer pro bono services for disadvantaged individuals to get jobs. How about crisis support? You volunteer to provide emotional support during crises, hotline, support groups, or for individuals who become homeless or are having mental health challenges. Maybe you provide companionship and friendship to isolated seniors or individuals living in shelters through regular visits, including some social activities. How about tutoring activities? You provide tutoring to students from low-income families to help boost their learning and academic performance. You volunteer at adult education centers to teach literacy skills, a second language, or help provide GED preparation assistance to finish high school. Next, crisis response and disaster relief. You volunteer with disaster relief organizations to assist in emergency response efforts and provide help to affected communities. You donate to humanitarian organizations to provide relief to victims of natural disasters and wars. How about neighborly love? You volunteer with organizations that repair homes, paint, carpentry, plumbing, or just for a neighbor. And you regularly, like I said, keep an eye on and assist the elderly neighbors, and even those that have disabilities with their yard work and with snow removal, or even some household chores from time to time. Maybe you just have love for those suffering. You spend time regularly visiting and talking with residents in nursing homes, giving them companionship and emotional support. You make homemade cards deliver flowers, make small gifts for hospital patients to brighten their days. You remember sick children, especially at Christmas time. Oh, the things you can do at Christmas time for kids. How about child care and babysitting? You offer free babysitting to single parents or families facing financial hardships, giving them needed time to work or cover personal needs. And what about spiritual and emotional guidance? You offer prayer, spiritual counseling, to people seeking guidance from a crisis. How about kindness at the store or on the bus? You pay for someone's groceries or meals, even anonymously, to help relieve their financial burden. You just know in your heart they are caring. You leave encouraging notes or uplifting messages to spread positivity. How about some final thoughts? All these stated reasons for this or that are good, but what about the human side of caring for the poor and the needy? Let's talk about that for another minute, okay? This may be one of the most important topics that pertain to your or your family's financial wellness. Why? I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but it sort of feels like on one hand, a person can have the whole world in his hands, but if he doesn't remember the poor and the needy, what good is it? Maybe it's that in the end, when life is over or coming to an end, that person will come to the realization that his gas tank was really on empty the whole time, that he thought he was pretty cool and was going places, had everything, but instead it was empty living. Sure, there was a ton of pleasure, but maybe the joy of life was missing. Sure, he was a center of attention because everyone wants to be around a person like that. But was there real happiness, or was that real happiness, or was something missing? Basically, maybe this is one of those times where a person might feel like he lost out on some real living or going to real places. I have some more final thoughts, okay? For example, if he had a heart full of memories where he anonymously or in person and generously gave of his abundance to many individuals and families in need and to the poor, where he saw firsthand how his giving actually lifted another person's heart and soul in a distressed time, where he realized that his giving wasn't really about the money, but because he actually cared for others, even a perfect stranger in need, where he realized that the person he helped was deeply touched, that another human being cared about him or her. Again, it wasn't about the money, but it was about the caring. That this caregiving person faced his last days with a heart just full of joy and satisfaction and happiness, that he devoted so much of his life and his resources to helping others, especially the poor and those in need. Or, as too often goes the case, he faced his death sick from his many addictions, lonely, and filled with uncertainty. Lastly, when we serve others in need, why do we always make a big deal out of it? Like we want to be sure that everybody look at me. Can't people just find an anonymous way to share just because they care? It says a lot about a person's personal self-esteem and true character when they don't need any honors bestowed upon them for their generosities. Most sweet is the fruit of the anonymous giver. Okay, some last final thoughts for real, okay? Finding the one again and again and again. Finding the one. If you ask to see, and you'll have to decide yourself on how you ask and to whom you ask, but if you ask, you will see the poor and those in need that you could not otherwise see. For example, the next time you go into a store, ask to see the person that really needs a lift, another human's touch of the loving care. Again, it's not about the money. Or a widow who is practically starving, or a single mother who is needing medicine for her child and who is sacrificing needs for herself, or a young man who needs clothes but is in desperate or who's in despair due to a family situation at home, or a young mother that desperately needs more diapers for her new baby. And the list goes on and on and on. And from your abundance, you can share you, not your money, but you, because this is not about money. It's you by your generosity. There may be many times where it should be done anonymously, but sometimes you may want to do it in person and deliver words of encouragement and hope. You will definitely have their attention. And when that day comes, when you're facing your last days, surely your heart and mind will be reflecting on the good you did throughout the years. Yes, your heart will truly be full. And what's better than that? These memories in your heart will go down with you forever. But everything else will, of course, stay right here. I have some candid questions for you. Why do you think most people don't remember to care for the poor and for those in need? What are the top 3 reasons why you don't remember to care for the poor and the needy? Upon completion of your Tuna Budget worksheet plan, what does your abundance look like? Would you be willing to consider at least a few new ways to care about others? What ways to care for others makes the most sense to you? Would you prefer to assist in person or do something anonymously? If the person as I described above, the one facing his last days, were you today, where would your heart be? Will you commit to asking for eyes that see and then go see what happens at the grocery store this afternoon? Thank you for joining us. Today we covered caring for the poor and needy, highlighting the importance of open conversations in financial wellness. And we want to hear from you at Tunabudget.com. Please submit your Candid Conversation memo and share your insights. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe for future podcasts. Until next time, visit Tunabudget.com for your free Tuna Budget Worksheet Plan, the most powerful budget worksheet plan in the world, yours. Thank you.